Hello and welcome to Belovix's comprehensive guide on resolving common Amazon FBA listing error codes. If you're an Amazon seller, you know how frustrating it can be to encounter listing errors. In this video, we'll walk through some of the most common error codes, explain what they mean, and provide step-by-step solutions to resolve them. Let's do it. How do I solve error 8541? Amazon error 8541 typically occurs when there is a mismatch between product data you're trying to submit and existing data in Amazon's catalog. This error often arises when the product you are listing has conflicting information with an existing ASIN. Steps to resolve this issue? First, identify the conflict. Determine the exact cause of the error by reviewing the error message. Next, check the existing listing. Search for the ASIN in Amazon's catalog and compare these details with your product data to identify any discrepancies. Next, update your product data. Adjust your product data to match the existing listings if it accurately represents your product. Next, create a new ASIN. If your product significantly differs from the existing listing, consider creating a new ASIN. To save time for all error codes, we will go over the true first step is to identify the error code by checking the message in Amazon. If you do all these steps and the issue is still not resolved, you will need to open a ticket with seller support. For brand-related issues, you'll need to open a ticket with brand services. We recommend calling seller support when available to get faster results. Sharing a case study how we resolved an 8541 error for a client. First, we identified the conflicting brand information by reviewing the error message and existing ASIN details. Next, our team adjusted the brand name and other attributes to align with the existing listing. What was the outcome? The product listing was successfully updated, allowing the client to continue their sales without further issues. Next, how to fix error 8007 on Amazon. Error 8007 typically occurs when there is an issue between a product description, often related to prohibited keywords or formatting problems. Here are the steps to resolve 8007 issues. First, remove prohibited keywords. Ensure that your product description does not contain any prohibited keywords or phrases. Next, we're going to want to check formatting issues. So ensure that your product description adheres to Amazon's formatting guidelines. A simple solution is the simplify your description. By simplifying the product description to include only the most relevant information. Here's a case study on how we resolve this issue for a client. As always, first we identified the error message and identified the prohibited keywords causing the issue on the listing. Next, our team revised the product description, removing the prohibited keyword and ensuring compliance with Amazon guidelines. What was the outcome? You guessed it. Product listing went up and became available for sale. A true win. How to fix error 8115 on Amazon. Amazon error 8115 typically occurs when there's a problem with the product category or classification during the listing process. Here are the steps you could take to resolve error code 8115. First, correct product classification. Ensure that the product is classified under the correct category. Next, check other category-specific requirements. Ensure that your product meets all category-specific requirements. You can reach out to seller support if you don't know where to find that. How to resolve the 8115, here's how we did it for a client. As always, we identified the specific error by viewing the error message and identifying that the incorrect product category was used. Our team then verified the correct category for the client's products by referencing Amazon's category guidelines and similar product listings. You guessed it, what was the outcome? The listing became available and we were able to get sales generating by reclassifying that listing correctly in the proper category. What is error 5665 on Amazon and what steps should you take to resolve it? Amazon error 5665 occurs when you try to create a new product listing but lack the necessary brand approval. Here are the steps you can take to resolve error 5665. First and foremost, if you haven't, brand registry enrollment. Ensure that your brand is enrolled in Amazon's brand registry program. If it isn't, submit for a brand approval request. Submit high-quality images that clearly display the brand name on the product and packaging. Here's a case study how we resolve this issue for a beauty client. First, brand verification. We ensured that the client was, in fact, enrolled in Amazon's brand registry program. Next, we guided the client through the process of submitting a brand approval request. And what was the outcome? You guys guessed it. The product listing was successfully created, allowing the client to launch their new product without further issues. How to solve and fix error 20005 on Amazon. Amazon error code 20005 occurs when there is a mismatch between product information you're trying to submit and the existing product data inside the catalog. Here are the steps you could take to resolve this error code. First and foremost, align product information. Adjust your product data to match the existing listings that accurately represents your product. Here's a case study of how we resolved this for a client in the electronics space. We reviewed the specific error message and identified the color attribute mismatch causing the issue. From there, we made sure our product data aligned. So our team compared the client's data with the existing ASIN in Amazon's catalog and adjusted the color attribute to ensure consistency. What was the outcome? The listing was successfully updated, allowing the client to continue their sales without further interruptions. What is error 8101 on Amazon? Amazon error 8101 occurs when there is an issue with the product identifier, such as missing or invalid UPC, EAN, ISBN, or ASIN. How do you resolve this? First and foremost, verify the product identifier. Ensure the product identifier you are using is valid and correctly entered. We all fat finger sometimes. Next, make sure you have GS1 certified barcodes. Ensure the UPC or EAN codes are certified. Can't tell you how often we see somebody buy codes on eBay and it just tears down the house. You want to make sure you're buying legit GS1 certified UPCs, and it'll alleviate a lot of your 8101 issues. What is error code 99005? Amazon error code 99005 occurs when there is an issue with compatibility of product data or system settings between your listing and Amazon's catalog. Here are the steps you can take to resolve this error. First and foremost, verify the product data. Ensure that all product information is accurate and consistent within Amazon's guidelines. Next, we're going to want to check compatibility. Confirm that the product data you are submitting is compatible with Amazon's system. We had this issue for an apparel client. First and foremost, how we resolved it, we identified the error, we reviewed the specific error message and identified the conflicting product data causing the issue. Next, we had to verify the data. So our team verified all product information to ensure accuracy and consistency within Amazon's guidelines. We made the updates, and what we found was that we were able to get the listing successfully updated, allowing the client to continue sales without further interruption. How to fix error code 8560. Amazon's error code 8560 occurs when there is missing or invalid attributes in your product listing. Here are the steps you can take to resolve the 8560 error. First, verify required attributes. Ensure that all required attributes for your product category are filled out correctly. Next, check the data validity. Verify that all entered data is valid and conforms to Amazon's guidelines. We have a case study for a client who had this error. And as always, the first thing we did, we reviewed the specific error message to identify which missing attribute was causing the issue. After we verified the missing attribute, our team also verified all required attributes for the client's product category. We made sure we had proper and updated templates. And what was the outcome? We were able to get the listing up with no issues. More often than not, we find that sellers will use outdated product templates, and that'll cause an issue. What is error code 8005? Amazon error code 8005 typically occurs when there is an issue with the product's attribute data, particularly when mandatory fields are missing or contain invalid information. How do you resolve this? First and foremost, verify required attributes. Ensure that all required attributes for your product category are filled out correctly. Next, we're going to want to check the data to make sure it is valid. We verify that all data entered is valid and conforms to Amazon guidelines. Then if you have any issues or the issue persists, you want to open cases with seller support. What is error code 990003? Amazon error code 990003 occurs when there's an issue with variation data in your product listing. This error typically indicates the values provided for the variation theme, think size, color, etc., are invalid or missing. Here are the steps you can take to resolve this error code. First, verify variation values. Ensure that the values you're providing for the variation theme size, color, etc. are matched and acceptable values allowed by Amazon, and make sure you have an updated template you're working within. Update the product data, correct any invalid or missing variation values in your product listing. We have a case study where we resolved this for a specific client. They had an error code that we were able to identify by going in and reviewing the error message. We identified that size values were not aligned. We see this a lot with apparel companies, obviously. And so first thing we did is we verified that we had all the proper information, including the correct size values for the specific category, and that was formatted correctly. Next, we updated the data where we did find issues or inconsistency in the data, ensuring all fields were accurately filled out and with valid data. And what was the outcome? You guys guessed it. The listing was successfully updated, allowing this client to continue their sales without further interruption. How do you fix error code 8058? Amazon error 8058 typically occurs when there is an issue with the product image data. This error often indicates that the image URL provided is invalid, inaccessible, or does not meet Amazon image requirements. Here are the steps you can take to resolve error 8058. First and foremost, verify the image URL. 9 times out of 10, it's a broken URL, and it's just as simple as updating it with the correct URL properly formatted. Next, you go on to check the image requirements. Confirm that the image meets Amazon's image guidelines to ensure that the product is able to be uploaded properly. More often than not, these things are not updated. And also keep in mind the minimum sizes required to get the zoom effect within your listings. These are all considerations you're going to want to consider as you're troubleshooting and trying to fix this problem. What is error code 941 on Amazon? Amazon error code 941 occurs when there is an issue with the product's relationship data, specifically related to the parent-child ASIN relationship. Here are the steps you could take to resolve error code 941. First, verify the parent-child relationship. Ensure that the parent ASIN is correctly linked to its child ASIN. Next, you want to check variation attributes. Confirm that all variation attributes are correctly filled out and matches Amazon's guidelines. Keep in mind and make sure you're using an updated template specific to your category. More often than not, we find sellers make the mistake by using an old template that's been updated, so it's updating outdated information, and this will cause a lot of errors to occur. This is the easiest and fastest fix that we're aware of. If the issue persists and you have the correct data, you have the correct template in the correct category, then we recommend open cases with Amazon support to resolve this issue. Last but not least, don't get too cute with your parent-child relationships. There are certain rules. You can't just dump all your listings under one parent. It violates Amazon ethics, so keep that in mind. How to solve for Amazon error code 5461. Amazon error code 5461 occurs when there is an issue with the product's brand value. Here are the steps you can take to resolve error code 5461. First and foremost, verify your brand information. Ensure that the brand information you provide matches the brand associated with the ASIN in Amazon's catalog. Next, if you haven't already and you have the ability, you're going to want to enroll in brand registry. So make sure your brand is enrolled in brand registry. This will give you contribution and all the rights to control your brand on the Amazon marketplace. Sellers who don't have brand contribution, when other sellers come on board, even counterfeit products, they'll have the ability to change that listing. And we've seen some pretty black hat tactics of competitors changing the main image to something highly illegal or highly not aligned with that product, resulting in that product getting taken down and the owner of that brand having to go through the cases and sometimes having to hire legal support to solve that issue. So make sure you're brand registered. What is Amazon error 5995? Amazon error 5995 occurs when there's a conflict issue with product standard identifiers such as your UPC, EAN, or ISBN. Here are the steps you can take to resolve error code 5995. First and foremost, verify the product identifier. Ensure that the product identifier you're using is valid and correctly entered. More often than not, we all fat finger that extra key and then bam, you got your error. Next, verify that the identifier is not already used by another product on Amazon's catalog. And this happens all the time if you're buying non-GS1 certified UPCs, and this will lead to invalid UPCs causing issues, especially if they're already associated with another product. It's really hard to break apart and it is painful. So make sure that you are in fact using GS1 certified UPCs as you're creating these listings for your brands. What are the error codes for Amazon brand issues and how to resolve them? Decided to group these all together to make it easy. But Amazon uses various error codes to indicate issues related to brand attributes in your product listings. Common brand-related error codes include error 5665, 5664, and 5661. Here are some steps you could take to resolve these error codes. First and foremost, this error code occurs when the brand attribute provided does not match the brand associated with the ASIN or the brand is not recognized by Amazon. How do we resolve this issue? The first steps you could take is verify the brand information. Ensure the brand information matches the brand association with the ASIN, that it's capitalized the same way, it's formatted the same way across all your listings. You can't have it all lowercase and all uppercase. However you register with brand registry is where it needs to be. If you're not brand registered, as mentioned before, get brand registered so you can control the contribution to your listings and ensure that your shoppers and your customers are getting a consistent experience with your brand on and off the platform. If you have issues resolving this issue, you're going to want to open cases with brand services. And unfortunately, you can't call brand services or get a callback. So you have to go by submitting cases, verifying your registration, and also providing proof that you are the brand and that this is correctly set up. A lot of times you may have to take photos of products. They're going to want actual photos from your phone of all sides of the packaging. So keep that in mind. If you're having brand issues, first and foremost, make sure that it's consistent in how you format it when you upload it to the bulk doc. And as you're uploading these things, then the next thing obviously is to make sure that all that information is correct and is associated correctly. What is error code 8572 on Amazon? Amazon error code 8572 occurs when there is an issue with the product's main image, specifically when the image does not meet Amazon's image requirements or guidelines. Here are the steps you could take to resolve error code 8572. First and foremost, verify the image requirements. Ensure the main image meets Amazon guidelines. Should consist of 85% of the space, should be on a white background, and shouldn't have anything that's not associated with the package inside of the listing. Also want to make sure if you are using URLs, it is the correct URL, it's not a broken URL, and it's 100% updated. And once again, any of these issues, if you provide the evidence and you have everything in place and it's just a system issue, because system issues do happen, you want to make sure you open cases with seller support. Recommend getting on the phone with seller support as it's a faster way to get a resolution. And last but not least, if it has to do with brand registry or the brand in general, you want to open cases and brand services. Thank you for watching Bellavix's comprehensive guide on resolving Amazon FBA listing error codes. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and solutions to tackle these issues. If you have any further questions or need assistance with your Amazon listings, feel free to contact us directly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to stay updated with more helpful content. Until next time, happy selling.